Hi everyone and welcome to yet another episode of AIC Retro Toy Museum. In this episode I'm going to talk about something that I really wanted to own as a child, and I am really emotional when I have this in my hand. So emotional that I think I'm never going to open it. You know, that's the irony and that's the reality. And I have gotten my hands on a mint boxed Cobra FANG. This is something that I have been seeing a lot during my childhood. My friends had it. I was really not that big into GI Joes when I was a kid, but you know, after seeing the Funskool GI Joe commercial every time as a kid, I wished I had that huge diorama that they showed in the ad, and I could, collect all those GI Joes, Cobras, and the vehicles and create this massive GI Joe versus Cobra war scene. And this was one vehicle that really stood out for me. This is the Cobra FANG, one of the most iconic vehicles in the vintage GI Joe line. I think one of the most crashed vehicles as well in the comic book as well as in the animated series. And I was just mesmerized by the open cockpit that it had and the way in which it was portrayed in the GI Joe commercial of Funskool. You do have to appreciate that toys were still not a big deal, and even today are not a big deal in India. They are never taken seriously for kids as well as for adults. So you do understand the emotional connect that a lot of Indian kids have with the Cobra FANG. This vehicle was in production for a fairly long time in the GI Joe range, and it is not at all easy to get boxed iterations. Now this is from 2002. Ironically, I got it from the US because it's next to impossible to find such a mint piece in India. All the original colors are intact. There are creases to the box somewhere, but it is largely mint, something that is very difficult to find. Most boxes in India you will see are a little bit torn off or faded because of the sun and the elements, but this is absolutely mint. If I go by the copyright year, I think it was introduced in 1990 in India. As I always say, please do correct me if I'm wrong. And it had a fairly long production run, I think spanning over 10-15 years in India for sure. So coming to the box, the card art is in line with the original card art, which was there on the Hasbro boxes. The name of FANG, the full form of FANG, is a fully armed negator gyrocopter with movable rotor blades and cannon. Sounds funny, but I think it made a lot of sense to us as kids. You have Funskool branding over here. The Cobra enemy logo on this particular card art is pretty huge. The box art is pretty huge, and although the box art showed a figure piloting it, we never got either any kind of pilots or Cobra soldiers or troopers or officers or Vipers or any those kind of army builders in the early stage of the line. We did get a few iterations of Cobra Commander. When I used to play it with my friends, I used to like keeping Scrap Iron or Baroness inside this particular copter. So I'm not going to open the box. I'm really sorry. This is too emotional a thing for me to open up. In fact, I'm gonna buy a loose Cobra FANG for my diorama and display purposes. But this is a short tour of the box. This, like I said, was manufactured in April 2002. The price then was only $110 or 110 rupees. I beg your pardon, and 110 rupees even at that phase translated to around $3. So all those who make fun of Funskool that it's the quality is not that great, do understand where Indian kids were at that point in time, and this is what we could really afford from our parents. If you go to the back of the box, you have the original, the actual vehicle as a part of the box art. The colors are a little bit saturated, so the red of the missiles are actually merging with the red background, but everything else is true to the Hasbro original. So instead of hunting for a Hasbro box, I am very well off collecting a Funskool equivalent. The box is actually quite thin, so if you'll see in this section, it is slightly bent. I think this was bent even when it was being sold by the America-based collector. So it's not something that has gotten damaged on in transit. So a lot of people ask me this question, that how come such mint boxes end up in the United States and not in India? Well, the answer in this particular case is very simple. This is a 2002 manufactured Cobra FANG. By this point in time, G.I. Joe had become a thing when it comes to collectibles among adults, and because they were dirt cheap in India, a lot of these pieces, be it the figures, be it the vehicles, found their way to American shores from India. So at the point in time when most Indian kids had gone away from G.I. Joe, there was no phenomenon of collecting G.I. Joes way back in 2002 in India. It was still purely a toy. These boxes found their way in the hands of American collectors, and that is why they have been kept in such good shape. And coming to India, most of us live in small houses, small apartments, in large families. So there is no culture of keeping toys, especially in box condition, in the attic or some storage space. So most likely you will find a lot of old toys in India, but they are not in as mint a condition. Maybe if my mood changes, I might open it up and assemble it for the love of it. But I think to relive that, I might buy the retro line FANG, which is also available in the US, and assemble that rather than fiddling around with one of my precious childhood memories. So this was my video about the Cobra FANG. Do let me know if you have any memories around this iconic vehicle in the comments. I look forward to your comments and interacting and answering with them. If you like the content on the channel, do feel free to subscribe and share this video with your friends. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow my Instagram handle, which is AICRTM. So with this, I end this video here today. See you on the other side. Till then, take care and goodbye.